Episode 164 of What's Up, Flobo? The show where we just hang around and chat about what's going on in life and everything. And I just want to give a shout out to the people who've been hitting me up, that have been supporting me on many different platforms. You know the deal. Patreon.com/Flobo Boys. You can unlock bonus content like Flopito's Book Club, more episodes of Flobo Sword on Netflix, and much, much more. And of course, if you're not really into that kind of monthly subscription, you just want to hit the streets with some dope threads, hit it up at flowbito.threadless.com. Hey, I'm actually recording this the day before it's released. It's actually Tuesday, even though it's a Wednesday it's been coming out, because as of right now, while this is airing, I'm getting my second shot of the COVID vaccine, and I've cleared my schedule of content for the next day at least, or a day or two, to see about side effects or all that kind of reactions and stuff like that. And it is interesting that I am treating this almost like the movie 25th Hour. I don't know if you guys seen that movie. It's kind of old now, so I guess I have to explain. It was really about Edward Norton's character being sent to prison, and the day before he has to go, he gets his affairs in order, and the whole movie's about getting his affairs in order. It's kind of feel like that, you're just packing the cupboards with the food you need, like the soups and stuff, and I have some of the Tylenol in case the fever gets bad. Don't know what else to do. I've heard everything from I had a headache to it's death incarnate, man. So I'm taking my sweet time with that. In fact, I just got off the call off phone with my mom, because she's amazing. You always call your mom if you have a chance to, about the opening up of America and the rest of the world, and what's considered okay, what's considered not okay, what is considered a faux pas when it comes to mask etiquette, something we never quite nailed down over the past year. I guess I'm more on the conservative side. I'm saying I'm not like crazy mask on all the time, but I live alone, so my mask is off in my house, obviously. But when I'm walking the street, I was saying, like, if I'm commuting through crowds of people, why not have a mask on? I feel like that should be par for the course. Not like we should all wear surgical stuff, but much like how we go outside, you put on a hat or a scarf. If there's a mask, that should be okay. I'm not saying everyone should do that. I'm not an advocate for that, but it should be all right. We got the ruling that if you're outside, more often than not, you can have without. That's cool if you don't. If you're outside, I'm not going to say anything. If you're inside, though, I'm going to give you one of these, because we don't quite know if we're done out the woods, anything like that quite yet. But I got to start thinking about what's going to change, what's going to stay the same during the opening up process. I think I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago that as a comedian, right now, clubs are opening up and bookings are happening, and then there's still like this virtual show aspect. So virtual shows aren't going away. Clubs aren't going away, but in most cases, they're going to be the last to come back. We're getting kind of like this hybrid lifestyle, much like books, right? We're having the actual books. When I do books for my book club show, I like to get the physical book. But if I wanted to read something on Kindle, I can. Especially when it comes to entertainment, you're going to have that double option. So even though I love the thrill of a live crowd and telling jokes, a lot of the digital efforts that I got into, whether it's a video game announcing or casting, if you're into the space, I use dual terms, right? Or the DJing aspect of it, there is going to be a ingrained virtual component. Like, you don't really have to be there. And I do think it's interesting about which side we land on things. Like, I feel like even though virtual graduations have been around for about 20 years, there is a thrill of having a real one for most people. I also feel like even though you can go into the office every day, I think most people are pushing to stay at home. I know there's some office hounds out there, which to them I say, nah, but I get it. If you're like, no, I love working with people, that's how co-working spaces are. But I do think there's going to be a pendulum to things, whether or not we do it virtually or in person. I like to keep things as virtually as I can. But again, there is electricity with having live people in the room. Yeah, I just can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens. Not so much the opening up process, not so much we're past this, but rather I can't wait to see where do we land on what is considered etiquette or good etiquette, or what would be the perfect etiquette for a virtual wedding? Do you do donations? Do you do live donations when the wedding is happening? Is that considered okay, or is that considered crass? Or if I'm doing a stand-up comedy special in an actual venue that's also live streamed, as a comedian, how much material do I focus on the live stream crowd over the people in the audience? How much crowd work do I do to people on screens? A lot of questions on my mind. I can't stop to think about it. I know some things are going to go away. I was watching a friend of mine, JLJ, James Lott Jr., had a gardening video. And even though I could watch that virtually, I would love to tend to a garden if I had one, But there's a lot of things that can be done in the digital space. The past year has proved it. And even though we're past the summer camp, or call it the Tiger King era, where we kind of just stayed at home and didn't count the days and we just watched Netflix all day, even though we're past that era of the pandemic or post-pandemic, I think a lot of us have come to realize that we don't have to go nearly as much. You have to spend as much money when it comes to gasoline or meals on the go to live the lives we want, which has just been eye-opening, to say the least. Well, that does it for me. Hopefully, future me has a good recovery, and present me is going to go and get something to eat. But if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, youtube.com/Flobo Boys. I'll be back next week with more Wassup Flobo. And for stick around for more content. We're talking all the other shows on this platform, trying to grow. Revolutions are happening. I'm out.